Due to the fact that this video holds both the reputation of a pro skater and a skate company on the line, it's going to be a little different to my normal videos. It's going to be a bit slower, the pace is going to be different, and I'm going to need some more patience from you guys. But with that being said, we'll take you right now to the very beginning of the story, which was the 2nd of September when Levi was on the Jump Street podcast and he dropped this bombshell.
The first 2 years it was nice, but after that I didn't really feel like the contact anymore. So I was trying to quit. So I sent Peter, the guy, a message I want to quit and I want to talk about it. And then he was so mad on me. It's a really crazy story. So
he was mad at you.
Yeah, he told me I'm gonna ruin your career and I'm gonna break your legs if you start skating for another brand.
What?
Yeah, he said I'm gonna beat you up and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah, that was fucked up. So I was pretty scared back then, but not anymore.
That is crazy.
And still, I mean, how old are you?
I was 18 back then.
Now this came as a huge shock to me. I really do look up to Levi. I see he's very inspirational to me for skating wise. I remember just some few clips of him on Rossies that really got me out and motivated to do some proper skating. And as a younger dude in skating, kind of like a new age blader, he's been really cool to follow up to now. So to hear him talk about situations like this was a huge shock, especially talking about Adapt, a brand which I really saw as one of the good ones. Kind of like them, but without the marketing, I saw Adapt as this brand that, was looking after riders, giving them a good paycheck, putting the rider first, but not really bragging about it. So this completely 180'd the perspective I had of Adapt. Now, this is quite a shocking and crazy story for someone to come out like that. I knew there had to be more to it. So I reached out to Peter at Adapt to get his response, and he is more than willing to tell me his side of the story under the condition that I tell the entire thing. So here I'm going to read through his side of the story. This is all from the perspective of Peter. Here is his story. What I am writing to you is my personal opinion on the entire case, and it is by no means written to damage Levi's future career within skating, but only written as to state my side of the story. As you know, our sport likes a bit of drama, and for the last few years, I've been trying to step away from opinions and stories within our industry. I have been trying to focus more on my personal work as a skate constructor and designer, and enjoy skating more instead of following gossip and blader hate. The story with Levi goes back a long time. Levi was skating for Razors at the time, and we had been skating together for some time, having fun and also seeing him develop more and more within skating. I got to know Levi through Olga actually, as they had known each other for a longer time. Quite a lot of people in our Dutch scene at the time were saying we had to put Levi on Adapt for the future. For me, I always said it was too soon and he was too young. We had previous issues in the past with our still team rider Sem, that he was on our team since the age of 14 and needed a break at 16 because of too much pressure. However, Levi won that year the Dutch championships for under 16 and later won local contests that we also joined. It happened to be his birthday that day, so me and Olga talked to each other and gave him an Adapt shirt and told him welcome on board. He was super happy. With this, I also told him to write Razors a nice thank you letter for all their support and not to burn bridges. For me, it was more about taking Levi under our wings, not just with skating, but also helping him out with other things. Levi was very young, never had any money, and would never get food for himself on trips or skate sessions. Me and Olga would always make sure Levi got food and drinks. I even remember Olga telling Levi to call his parents when we were in Copenhagen to ask them if he graduated from high school. We took it upon ourselves to teach Levi about morals. To give an example, at Copenhagen he stole a hat from a girl that had just graduated. When he got to the meeting point in the morning, we asked him what the hat was. He just laughed and told the story about him stealing it from the girl. At that point, me and Olga went on to search to find the girl back the day after and actually succeeded. We got to give the hat back as Levi did not want to. The hat stands for a lot of things in Copenhagen and is very special. Levi did not seem to see the importance at the time and also did not see that he was in the wrong. Me and Levi went on tours together, we shared opinions, had good laughs, talks, and he had been a part of our family for a long time. With Adapt, that means you're actually part of our family. You sit at our table when you want, we help you out, etc. Me and Olga do our best. Now, years later, I decided we should give Levi a pro skate. Lots of people were actually against this idea, but I felt that it was our job to promote younger riders again and give them more opportunities. Like when I was younger and pro skaters then were 15, 17 years old and also got pro skates. So for us as a small company to take a stand in this and actually offer a pretty unknown Dutch skater at the time a pro skate was pretty sick, but also a big risk. Before Adapt, and this is important for the entire story, not a lot of people knew about Levi. We promoted Levi and had sent him on comps and tours and even to the US in order to make a name for himself. All this to make sure his pro skate would be a success. Sales numbers were pretty slow for the first year of his pro skate, and we got a lot of questions about who Levi was. And even if we paid the highest rate at the time per skate sold royalties, we still wanted more for Levi. So we decided to create the power strap for our skates and do a second run and second year of the skate. We talked this all over with Levi, and he was down for this and also down to promote it more. During this time, my personal life got a few big hits, and I had been going through a burnout with Adapt. Me and Olga worked both daytime jobs, and next to this, we worked on Adapt during the evening and night. I was having doubts on staying within the industry as I had gotten offers to work in the car industry. Olga was not sure about our situation. Then I got the news that my mum got diagnosed for the third time with cancer and was thinking about euthanasia. I lost my dad to cancer and now I was going to lose my mum to cancer. So me and Olga decided to take a trip to the US and stay with Russell Day. Sem would also join us and we would just take some time off and have fun. Even if we did work again for Adapt, the California edit as a result, and Sem's Woodward edit, we were there to charge up and make our minds up on the entire situation at home. 1 week before all of this, Levi came to our house. He was going to pick up royalties from his skate sales. We made dinner and even brought special cakes for Levi, and we even gave a bit more money to him to support him as he was talking about wanting to invest in a camera. We then talked about our personal situation and that I really needed some time off and rest. So we're going to the US in order to do this. I drove Levi home and we still talked about future plans for him and Adapt. Said goodbye and see you soon. Now 3 days later, jet lagged in the US at Russell's place, I got a message from Levi on my Facebook account stating he is going to leave and skate for Rosie's instead as an ambassador, and a short thank you. If you know a bit about me, you would know that I can have a bit of a temper, and especially when I'm put in a situation where we have a pro skate going, we invested materials for this pro skate, we invested trips for Levi to make a name, we just paid him his royalties and had talks about the future and that I needed some rest. And now he is sending me the most impersonal message ever with a short thank you and goodbye. Levi knew all the personal things that had been going on in my life, that I was on this trip for peace of mind and to see if we still wanted a future for Adapt. And this is the time he chose to state not only that he is leaving, but he is leaving when his pro skate is still being sold and should still be sold for another 8 to 9 months. It was the most immature and slap in the face message I had ever gotten in my career of being in our industry. Not only did he put a lot of pressure on us during the entire vacation, but we also had to take off his pro skate, rename it as the team skate, and put work in again, cancel orders for materials, etc. As he was my friend, Olga's friend, we had put everything on the line to make sure Levi got a nice future in blading. We paid for his US trip with our personal money as Adapt funds were tight at that moment. And here's this kid we have now known and helped for over 7 years with shaping his future, stating he is leaving as per directed. He does this during my vacation and just after gotten paid. I totally freaked out. Sem, Olga and Russell took care of me that day as I could not understand. This was a knife in my back, and to this day it still feels like this. I had written him back with some very hefty words, and I think if you know someone for over 7 years and have been friends, you know how a person is and how he will react. Did he expect roses from me and Olga? Levi had seen me before when something bad happened, so what did he expect with a message like this to me? I freaked out, told him a lot of things, and I would do this again if somebody would put me into a position like this. That Levi took out the words out of the message, that's up to him. I think he should try and look at the bigger picture here and maybe send us some roses for giving him a career and a name in skating. As before Adapt, people asked, who is Levi? Friends do not do this. You think further. The people that gave you all these years skates skate trips and good times, a pro skate times 2, you think further, not just what is best for your direct interests, not after all we had put into his career. To give you an idea, Sem left Adapt when he was 16 years old, 3 years younger than Levi. Sem asked me to talk to me and Olga privately. He told us about the situation and that he wanted to get off Adapt. It was not pleasant to hear at the time, but I always respected Sem for the way he told me. We have been friends still, and he is now still one of our most dedicated riders, something to be proud about. Levi got the same family with the extra that he was one of the youngest riders on the planet to receive a pro skate from us. And he complains about me giving him some bad words after the entire situation. Up to this day, he has never talked to Olga or even wrote her a personal message. Olga has known Levi longer than I have, and that is the story about Levi and Adapt. All the best to him. I hope one day he can see beyond the cool and think about the situation he put 2 people in that took him in and gave him more than they should have. Kind regards, Peter. So that's Peter's side of the story. And I do want to thank Peter for giving me his side of the story. He didn't need to do that. And he gave me exclusive rights to cover it, which is a first for me. And as a volunteer rollerblading journalist, I do really appreciate that. So thank you, Peter. Now, hearing his side of the story really makes this make a lot more sense to me. It was hard to imagine a justification for the reaction that Levi was talking about. But yeah, once after hearing this, to me, I can understand it now. I can see lashing out, when you're in a situation like that and being kind of backstabbed like that in such a way, I can understand saying some shit you don't mean. But I've definitely done that in the past. But if I think about me personally, afterwards, a few years later, like it is for them, I don't think I'd be saying that I would do it again. I would hope that I wouldn't lash out the same way. And it does stand out to me that Peter is here saying that he would do it again. But maybe he's just more honest with himself than I am, because maybe I would be the same, And this definitely was a really shitty thing for Levi to do to, someone who had his back for so long and helped him with a lot of things and really stuck their neck out for him. But it really stands out to me, his age at the time, it's not an excuse, but I think it kind of answers how it happened. I can imagine myself, I've definitely done it in the past where I've come across as ungrateful just because I don't know how to just, you don't have the experience how to not do this shit, I really don't like this attitude though that everyone only knows Levi because of Adapt, even though, they obviously gave him all the opportunities that got him to get his name, they helped him get there for sure. I really don't like that way of looking at sponsoring a rider. I think it's not a good look. You shouldn't expect something in return, and it really discounts Levi's skating. He's a great skater. If Adapt didn't pick him up, I'm sure someone else would have. I mean, we know Razors wasn't going to, give him a pro skate and pay for these trips. But, it's all about what ifs at that point. So you never know. And I really don't think that's a good way to treat your team. Talk about your team, I don't like it. But that's my thoughts there. Ultimately, I think this is just the downsides of running your business like a family. Peter has told me that everyone on his team, there's no contracts. It's all built on trust, And when that works well, it works great. When you can get along and you can easily talk to each other, everything's fine. But when it falls apart, it's a lot more ugly because everything's a lot more personal. And I think this is the ultimate example of that, which is pretty sad. And ultimately, I hope that this hasn't put Peter off supporting the younger skaters out there, although I'm sure it has, because it's a really good thing they did that. The fact that, Peter and Olga, they looked after a young up-and-coming skater and helped him get out there. That's a huge deal. And yeah, it would be cool to see more of that. But anyway, that's their side of the story. I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, as always. This is the first ever Blade News report, which is what I'm going to call it. This is an idea I've had for a while where I've wanted to deep dive on like singular stories. Because sometimes, the time of the normal Blade News doesn't give me enough time to like actually bring some new information out about it. So if you like that idea, let me know. But I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons and members and my Twitch subs and you guys for watching. And if you need some advice for today, stop looking into rollerblade drama and go for a skate right now. You never know, someone might see you and they might get inspired to skate themselves. And that's the biggest thing you could do to someone's life, Think about it. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching.